Nowhere are the forces of disintegration more obvious today than in Bosnia. For the past 2.5 years, the United States has sought to contain and end the conflict, to help to preserve the Bosnian nation as a multi-state entity, multi-ethnic entity, to keep faith with our NATO allies, and to relieve human suffering. To these ends, we have led the NATO military responses to calls by the United Nations for assistance in the protection of its forces and safe areas for the people of Bosnia, led efforts to achieve a negotiated settlement, deployed peacekeeping troops to the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia to contain the conflict within the present borders of Bosnia, and conducted the longest humanitarian airlift to the people there in history. 2 weeks ago, the Bosnian Serbs unleashed 1,400 shells on the civilians of Sarajevo. The United Nations called this attack a return to medieval barbarism. They asked for a NATO air response, which we supported. Now we have joined our allies to develop a coordinated response to the Serbs' continued refusal to make peace and their illegal capturing of United Nations personnel as hostages. We believe still that a strengthened United Nations operation is the best insurance against an even worse humanitarian disaster should they leave. We have a long-standing commitment to help our NATO allies, some of whom have troops in the UN operation in Bosnia, to take part in a NATO operation to assist them in a withdrawal if that should ever become necessary. And so, if necessary, and after consultation with Congress, I believe we should be prepared to assist NATO if it decides to meet a request from the United Nations troops for help in a withdrawal or a reconfiguration and a strengthening of its forces. We have received no such request for any such assistance, and we have made no such decision. But in any event, we must know that we must continue to work for peace there. And I still believe that we have made the right decision in not committing our own troops to become embroiled in this conflict in Europe, nor to join the United Nations operations. So, I want to say to you, we have obligations to our NATO allies, and I do not believe we can leave them in the lurch. So I must carefully review any request for an operation involving a temporary use of our ground forces. But we have made the right decision in what we have done and what we have not done in Bosnia. I believe we must look at all of these problems and all these opportunities in new and different ways. For example, we see today that the clear boundaries between threats to our nation's security from beyond our borders and the challenges to our security from within our borders are being blurred.